man. We back with another one. We got your boy Troy Ave and Cosmic Cav today.
Damn right. And what I thought was notable in this interview, Troy Ave finally admits I lost.
What?
I'm going to clarify, but he did admit that he lost. And I think that's a good thing. But
No, not the King of New York right
yeah,
now.
I'm talking about Roland Collins. I'm talking about New Pac. I'm talking about evil Martin
Okay.
Luther King, M. Drill K Jr., nigga. That's who I'm talking about. The nigga
Okay.
did admit. We'll get into that. This is the latest interview from Troy Ave ever since Mysonne dropped his latest diss track.
Okay.
So this is the first time we hearing from him again. I think it's a real good interview, and it's an interesting dynamic because Troy Ave had some beef with Hovain up until the time that he died, and Hovain is a friend of Cosmic Kev. So you're gonna see tension throughout this interview. Another thing, um, Kev was friends with Benga as well. So he's a little bit biased in that way that he's never been a free tax stone type of guy. He's close to somebody that lost their life from the incident. But to talk about my son's diss, did you catch that? Did you watch the video? Did you see the that's the first thing they started talking about. And Troy Ave said that he didn't even watch my son's video.
He didn't even listen to it. Yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, the reason why he said he's not going to listen to it is because there's nothing that my son could bring up. You know, there's no
And I kind of
mystery in his
referred that
history.
in our video. I was like, yo, there's nothing more he could say after that first diss. But you know,
Yeah, it seems like I agree with you. They're both running out of material. I was one that said my son. I liked his just the first one on the Troy Ave beat. I thought lyrically that was a little bit stronger than Taxi Robber, but that shit has captivated the streets. You know, and there's at this point you got to say something new. And I'm listening to the new My Son disc. He's just saying Troy stole 50 style, fake niggas with fake chains. Something, he called Troy Ave a tough snitch. Uh, just because you shoot a gun, that don't make him a gangster. I think we've heard all of that. I think the
I
hard
gotta clear. Yeah, yeah. I
what
mean, we gotta clear this because we gotta make sure this is true. Is it true that Tax wrote a letter to the judge trying to make it seem like Troy Ave killed Banker?
that's what Troy Ave said in his interview. So, the whole Troy Ave being a snitch thing, we know that's debatable. I don't think we got to go over that. I think
Yeah,
everybody's
yeah.
clear on that. Why Troy Ave doesn't think he's a snitch. Why my son is saying that he's a snitch. My son is saying
Right.
that if you a
Like, how
snitch, you
could
can. I mean, look, they both got the same rules with snitches. Troy Ave is a street dude. We know that the street rules is kind of like strict. But I think the hardest line from my son's diss, just to be fair, I want to show both sides. He said he'd rather be a cab robber than to get my man's killed and never say sorry to his mama. Did you hear
that
about the things about Troy Ave talking slick to
he did not get his
Banger's
man's
mom?
killed? No, no, I didn't hear
Okay.
that because
Okay.
I don't feel like he got his man killed. I think this
Fair.
is this is hater talk just to try to get up under Troy Ave's skin. You know what I mean? Like
Well,
this
they're in a
is
battle. I mean, they're
the
saying mean things
battlefield.
about each
Yeah.
other. I ain't gonna write my son off as a hater. I feel more comfortable giving Tax Stone the title of hater than my son. I think they just have a
That's the
difference
only
of
reason. That's the
yeah.
only reason because y'all trying to go into a business or what two guys that was friends who was running together and a tragedy happened and now you trying to put it on like this man got him killed. That ain't real to me, bro. Like you got to keep it all the way 100. If somebody got somebody killed and it was a way, I would say that. But in that kind of scenario, bro, you can't even talk like that, in my opinion. You get what I'm saying? They in the battlefield, they going at it. You know,
Fair,
you get
fair,
wins and
fair,
losses.
fair. Well, evil Martin Luther King also brought up the fact that he lost. Now, I want to give a little bit more clarity on that. My son is always talking about like, yeah, like what the fuck you won, dog? I mean, a mother lost her son, dog. He's on that type of shit. And I think that was one of my son's stronger points. You out here bragging about some kind of victory when your man's got killed, a mother lost her son, and you in court and everything having to testify it's not a win. Troy Ave admitted that he's lost some things. Now let me finish. He
Go
said he
ahead.
lost custody of his kids. He had to fight back. He said this shit crippled his career. He had to pay 200K plus in lawyer fees. He paid $500,000 in attorney fees, according to him. I think it was good to show that humility that there is a bad side to this. It's not all good. It's not, there's levels to winning, in Troy Ave's words, but I thought it was good that he kind of took accountability for that. There's people that's close to this situation. A dude lost his brother, Trife Banger. I
Right.
don't think he likes all of that. I dare hater, I one talk. You know what I'm saying? And
Why? But
you know,
why? How are you go? I
mm,
mean, that is just a sign to me of just I don't understand how somebody gonna say they don't like him saying how hater I want. He's a rapper. He's just handling his business. Yes, that happened,
then
but
you're not empathetic. If you
he's
can't
talking to his
understand
haters.
where his brother's coming from, where his mama might be coming from, people who's like, yeah,
No,
this ain't
no.
something to be celebrating. You know, you didn't win. This ain't a win. They don't see it like that. So you can't see that side of it. Even if
I
you
mean,
understand what Troy has, you can't see both sides. You're not mature enough to see both
I'm
sides of
telling
that.
you that they saying that they don't want to tell him that to act like he won. They want to say, no, you lost. You somebody died, but
Okay.
he could say he won. He could say, yo, he live. He's still producing music. That shouldn't hurt anybody's feelings, bro. It shouldn't make you feel a certain kind of way about somebody because they
All
want
right.
to say
If you
claim
don't
they
see it,
victory.
I can't make you see it. Another
Right.
thing,
Okay.
Kev says that Mano's first album was fire. And he stood on it. Cosmic Kev has a
Look,
real
okay.
opportunity to be biased in this interview, and he said Mano's music
we
is
all
good.
know. We all know Maino first album, except for that high hater dog that he plies on. That was the only song that was fire that I can never recall even listening to Maino.
You
Cause
thought
yeah,
High Hater was fire?
I'm
Huh.
saying it. I ain't gonna say fire. It was catchy. It was a hot song.
Oh,
I
I
ain't
thought I
gonna
heard
say
you say
like,
the word fire.
yeah.
I was
I
like,
mean, yeah.
I'm
That's out of
tripping.
that's
Okay.
out of context. I ain't go. But it was a good song. It was it was catchy. He threw plies on there. If he would have never probably threw plies on there, I don't think we would have ever. You know what I mean?
Well, that's another guy that he's beefing with. So he brought up the Chaingate scandal. They were discussing Maino. I think he's already put the nails in Maino's coffin. Maino failed to clear the air in that last Queen's Flip interview.
He
This
failed
guy's going
horribly.
into, yeah, and he's going into more detail than even Maino went in about the chain thing. He said that the chain was pilfered. It's weird that you kept the chain. And he said that he never even really is, he's not even the one that brought that chain gate situation up. He said the internet is the people that brought it up, which is right. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these nicknames that he gets credit for and everything like that, the internet is undefeated. They the ones that really crucify Maino for
Yeah.
having the Jesus piece. He got crucified for having the Jesus piece, the fake one. You know what I'm saying?
But
Uh,
Maino, one thing is Maino is not as he don't have the PR skills like Troy Ave has too. So it's like
yeah.
he should have never jumped in this water because
He,
he not ready for all of this and the songs and the
he,
disses. He
well,
ain't
yeah,
built for this.
Troy Ave is a better. He's more battle tested. He's used to having his back against the wall, and he's better at interviews. He's a better talker, in my opinion. My son's last disc was not. It wasn't rhythmic enough, dog. He needs something that we could dance to. Dissing Troy Ave at this point. That's the only thing that's gonna like get the people back. All of that lyrical miracle type of vibe. You know what I'm saying? Grown man bars, which I respect, it ain't gonna be enough to turn the tide on this thing. And
No, it's over, man. Listen,
yeah,
Troy
I don't
Ave
know
is
what
the
he could do
king
about
of this New York right now, man. When it comes to rapping, when it comes to like who's hot right now, who's in the news, he said he was at the fight. People saying, "Do your thing."
it.
He
Yeah,
front
yeah.
row, like
He said celebrities who he didn't even know was aware of his music was yelling out Chano and
listen.
giving
And
praising
you
him about
told
the
me,
diss
listen,
track.
I wasn't even listening to Troy Ave. You was like, "Yo, look, boy, Troy Ave snapping right now." I said, "Man, let me check him out, man." When I checked him out, I said, "Yo, he hitting right now. Sounds like a new 50."
What, yeah, yeah, and at one point in the interview, Troy Ave straightens Cosmic Kev because he I'll get to that later. You feel me? But Troy Ave said he don't want to be like no other man, but I feel like he's really embodied the young 50 vibe, and that's really what's helping him on that. The music's hot. The Dear Hater I Want music is hot. They brought up about Troy Ave being a snitch too. They're comparing him to 6ix9ine a lot. He said he rejects that comparison because if you're a gang member, and these are I'm paraphrasing, but Troy Ave say if you a gang member and somebody rape your mama, you ain't supposed to tell the police. You supposed to find that man that raped your mama and kill him, but you don't never
Facts.
go to the police. So I thought
Gang
that was an
member. He
interesting
said gang
perspective.
member. Yeah,
That what he
yeah.
said, gang
Mhm.
member, and he said that he was shot at 15. He said he doesn't bring it up much because he left it in the streets. Also says he was shot in the head around Christmas. I think it might have been on Christmas. He said he doesn't talk about that a lot because he left it in the streets. He doesn't consider this whole thing with Maino and Mysonne real beef, quote unquote. So I thought that was interesting. You know what I'm saying? That's a hard. You see, he has a rigid rule with snitching. You know what I'm saying? Even if your mama's raped, you can't snitch. But in his situation, he did take the stand. I'm not saying he was wrong for that, but there's this whole snitch and not snitch thing. It gets real murky. The lines get blurred. You know what I'm saying?
So how do
I
you
let the
feel? How do you feel
you know
about what Troy Ave do? Do you feel like Troy Ave is a snitch?
listen, I think in the streets, a lot of people would be right by calling him a snitch. Now, would I have done the same thing that Troy Ave did? Yeah. If a street nigga is the type of nigga that can't tell in the situation that Troy Ave was in, I don't want to be no street nigga. I'm a nigga that's gonna bag your ass and try to get away with it. That's just regular
That's why
self-preservation.
I
Like
can't
that's
say that's
I
snitching
can't
because
I mean it,
Taxstone went to
you
the judge and say he killed him.
they both snitching. That's how it works
Yeah.
in the streets. They both snitching. So you could pick and choose with it if you want to. If we go about street rules that they supposed to be living by, yeah, they both snitch. So uh, I like his story though. It's a story about victory. Dare Hater I Won. He said it was part of the he recorded that at a time that's the most tragic part of his life. And I think the music's actually good. He did spend some time talking about that. One of the most interesting parts about the interview though is talking about Hovain. Hovain is a guy
Yeah.
that he feels like abandoned him at Irving Plaza, left him to fend for himself by from the standpoint of the guns. People talk about Troy Ave trying to avoid the gun charge, and Troy Ave feels that Hovain should have took the gun charge. And Kev is asking Troy Ave, like, do you have any regrets about the things that you said about Hovain? And Kev is saying that him and Hovain are friends, but it was interesting that Troy Ave was saying, like, listen, I'm the one who introduced you to Hovain, and Hovain didn't even really fuck with you like that. You know what I'm saying? So if there's anybody you should have loyalty to, it should be me. Like I fuck with you, but I'm telling you, Hovain ain't really fuck with you like that. And the nigga abandoned me. He knows that I'm the celebrity, and he was down for the ride, like down to take charges and stuff like that, since he's the money machine. And he said it switched up that night at Irving Plaza, so he don't have no problem, even though Hovain is dead. He don't have no problem
Man, how
dissing
Hovain
Hovain.
died? Yeah, he got
It
killed.
might have been. I'm sure they'll let us know in the comments. I think it might have been a heart attack or something. I don't remember, but Troy Ave is still kind of kicking dirt on his name, and Kev is like, "Well, damn, the guy's dead. His kids might have to see this. Do you feel bad about it?" And Troy has no regrets. He said it's the truth. I'm not gonna stop saying the truth. He said if I told on somebody or if I folded in battle and somebody had something to say about me and my kids had to hear about it, so be it. He said you got to stand on what you stand on. Thought that was a original stance on Troy Ave, but I mean he's standing on what he's standing on. Got to respect it.
Yeah.
Even the podcast kind of ended abruptly. Like I felt like there was tension between Troy Ave and Kev. That's why if anybody hasn't seen it, go to Cosmic Kev's channel and watch the full interview. Even the way that it ended, it was like Troy Ave asked his man, like, "Yo, how much time we left? We done? We finished or we done?" Type of vibe. Did you catch that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like it seems like him and Kev might have had a little tension after
I
this
mean,
interview.
cause yeah, yeah, cause
Yeah,
Kel, it's a touchy situation,
it
man.
is a
Somebody,
touchy situation. People
and
died.
people died, and people
Yeah.
want to act like you killed them almost, like, that's where it get crazy, cause you
No,
already
I
know
think
family.
I don't I think you're mischaracterizing what's going on. People are not acting like he killed people. They just have a problem with the way that he's behaving after the fact. They would want him to be a little bit more respectful. It's the same thing with like Hurricane Chris, right? He's talking about on Vlad about he didn't feel like BTB Savage was talking about the person that he ended up having to kill or was involved in the killing. He don't feel like he was talking about it the right way. That's the gist of what Hurricane Chris was saying. The way that Hurricane Chris was talking about having to kill somebody was totally different. It was more respectful. It was more mindful that there's people that love this person here. We
Yeah.
don't seem that kind of restraint with Troy Ave, and that's what people have a problem with. Now, I don't really hold that too much against Troy Ave because there ain't no perfect victims. Troy Ave been through a lot. He not coping with
Mm-hmm.
it perfectly. Yeah, he lashing out and he beefing with niggas and he's trying to seem strong and everything like that. It's gonna come off like a little bit braggadocious, but I'm not gonna, I can't really hold his feet to the fire for that. I get that he been through some shit. You know what I'm saying? So good
Yeah.
interview, good interview. And as far as the review on, he talked about a lot of things. He talked about Hovain. He talked about, in closing, I'm wrapping this up. He's talked about Hovain. He talked about Taxstone, Ratstone, as he called him. He talked about the Chaino incident. We got to know a little bit about Kev's closeness to the situation, the relationships he got with the people involved in the situation. But Mysonne, this ain't enough to change the tide on that. When he talked about Mysonne, it seemed like the nails was in the coffin in that situation. Mysonne, the music's just not hot enough. I think he's making some good points.
You was
And
somebody that was on my son. You were like, yo, I gotta go with my son on
yeah, we
this
were
one, man.
comparing two songs. We were comparing
Yeah.
Taxi Robber to his It's Not All About the Money track on the old Troy Ave. We were
Mhm.
comparing those two tracks, and I felt like my song was the stronger spitter when we were comparing those two tracks. Now we're talking about my song following up with the other diss song. I don't think it's really comparing. It's not good enough. I don't think it's hitting the mark. I don't think he chose the right beat. I said that when we
That's
spoke
why
on the
he had to
snippet.
drop another song
Yeah, well,
because it
I felt like the
Troy
other one
Ave
was
shook.
good. These
Listen,
interviews is killing his songs, is what it
listen,
is.
yeah, yeah, but Troy Ave is shaking up the streets, dog.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to attack this man by saying you got your man's killed. They don't have no merit, you know what I mean? This man got the streets. If you look in the comment section on what he be saying on even our channel and even other channels that they be saying, the streets in New York is riding with Troy, man.
I
They're
mean,
not
look,
riding with
when
my
you see
son
the
and Maino.
yeah,
They're
there's a
not
lot of
riding with
people
my son and
feeling
Maino.
they're riding with Troy in the comments a lot, but a lot of times people online are louder than anybody else. There's a lot of support for my son too, but it might not be the same kind of people that's going to get in the comments. Though you're going to get support from a more older, mature type of audience base. You know what I'm saying? Just like you'll feel like there's more support for Trump out here than Biden because people are wearing Trump hats and Trump shirts. People that support Biden might not necessarily wear a shirt or something like that, or they're not fanatical about it. They're not going to be, putting a bumper sticker on their car, but that's who they're going to vote for in the ballot. Same thing with my son. I think he does have support. I think he's successful in his own right, but he don't have the type of fan base that's really going to go
He
too
got your
hard in the
support though.
comments. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
he got your support. He
Hey,
got
I,
your
I
support.
think both of these guys got my support. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Right.
not getting personal with this. I
Mm.
don't really necessarily have to choose sides all the way. If my side drop a hot track tomorrow, I'll be here saying that the track is hot. I'm not one of those guys. You know what I'm saying? So they both got my support. You know what I'm saying? I ain't picking sides and you know what I'm saying? None of my people got hurt in the situation. I'm just a nigga on YouTube trying to
Yeah, I
assess
mean,
the situation. You know?
I'm saying Troy Ave music is hotter. His song was hotter than me. He got more flavor than these guys, and he's
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
I
now you getting
mean,
on some other, that's a different conversation. I mean, we got to really do a review of that Dear Hater I Want album. But yeah, Troy Ave is making the most. He's making the most fire music of his career right now. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like that's hands down. He might be the hottest nigga in New York. So y'all let us know what y'all think about this latest interview. I don't think that if you were on Troy Ave's side, this is gonna change your mind. If you was on my side, I don't think this interview will change your mind either. It's just a lot of stuff that we really already know. I think the most interesting thing about this is the dynamic between Troy Ave and bootleg Kev to me.
Yo, dope,
Yeah.
dope. All right,
My
man. So we're gonna catch y'all on the next one, man. Peace.
peace.